G'day everyone, Sam here. I'm honoured you decided to turn on this video and practice with me today. In today's practice I want to speak about one of my favourite sutras from the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, and that is Sthira Sukham Asanam. Find a steadiness and an ease in every posture. The word sthira refers to steadiness or stillness, and sukha or sukham, ease or easeful, and asanam or asana, posture, the seat. So we're going to work to balance that steadiness and ease in all of our postures today. We're going to find that steadiness and ease in our breath. But we're going to challenge ourselves. We're going to work through some balancing postures and also some twists, and hopefully find some twisted balance, trying to just welcome this idea of Sthira Sukham Asanam throughout the practice. The blocks will absolutely help you. Other than that, when you're ready, we'll get right into it. We're going to get started standing. So take yourself towards the top of the mat, and once you arrive, I want you to look down at your feet. Take the two big toes so they're touching, or the inside of the big toes touching, and then spread the toes and let the toes rise off the mat. And what you'll feel there for a moment is the ball joint of the big toe grounding into the mat. And if you start to roll the weight towards the pinky toe, still keeping the toes lifting off the mat, you might feel the ball joint of the pinky toe grounding. Now it's a lot smaller, it's a lot more subtle. If you keep rolling to the outside edges of the feet and lean back slightly, you'll feel the outside edge of the heel start to press into the floor. And then if you were to roll the inner arches of the feet towards one another, you will feel the inside of the heel grounding into the earth. Now spread the toes a little wider, set them back down, and then just come towards Tadasana. Roll the shoulders back, close the eyes, feel the crown of the head lifting towards the ceiling. So we've already found that little connection to all four corners of the feet, ball joint of the big toe, ball joint of the pinky toe, inner and outer part of the heel, and also the inner and the outer arches of the feet. Now I want you to just start to move through the feet with the eyes closed, leaning forwards, leaning back, moving side to side. What we're starting to do here is just calibrate. Feet, the ankles. The energy moves up towards the legs. As you just start to shift forwards, back, and side to side, I want you to imagine a boat. Boat on the water, a gentle swell. You notice the boat moves with the swell. It goes over the top of waves, falls down the other side, but it keeps its balance because it moves with the tide. There's no resistance from the boat, it's buoyant. It allows whatever is going to happen just to happen. As we say, the boat goes with the flow. So we're going to see if we too can go with the flow today, with little resistance, feeling this Sthira Sukham Asanam, this steadiness and ease in all of our postures. And start to slow down that sway and see if you can find that steadiness now, that sthira, that stillness. For the strength, the grounding, and the stability below us from feet traveling up through the legs. But this lightness and this ease above us, that space above the crown of the head. It's like we get more solid, more grounded the lower we get, but more of an expanse and a lightness as we rise. Just take a couple more breaths where you are. Another breath here. Nice work. From here, we'll reach the arms up and overhead. Take an expansive breath in as the arms climb. And as you exhale, to start to fold over your thighs. It might be more comfortable for you to take the feet a little wider. I would encourage you to take your blocks here and just pop them underneath the hands. A little pedal out through the feet here, feeling one knee bend, the opposite leg straighten. A little shift from side to side. Letting the head drop nice and heavy, the elbows bend, really allowing your torso to be heavy here in this space. Maybe calibrating the feet like we did before, leaning forwards, back, side to side, just to see what that feels like for you. Then pop your blocks on the highest height, just underneath the shoulders. We'll lift the chest up halfway as we breathe in. Now our left foot's going to stay where it is. We're going to take the right leg around the back and see if we can ground the outside edge of the right foot off the left edge of the mat. And then with our blocks, we'll start to walk the blocks over towards the left-hand side of the room, pressing our left foot flat into the floor, but staying on the outside edge of that right foot here. And the more you take those blocks towards the left-hand side of the room, the more you're going to start to feel on the outside of that right hip. You can drop the head down heavy here or stay lifted, whatever works for you. Last breath. We'll take our blocks back towards center. Reset our feet, so right foot steps back to where it was. Once it grounds, we take the left leg around the back of the right. Outside edge of the left foot grounds off the right edge of the mat, and then we walk our blocks over towards the right-hand side of the room. So trying to press that right foot flat, staying on the outside edge of that left foot, and really starting to feel the outside edge of that left hip, getting a stretch here. And we'll bring ourselves back through center. As you reset the feet, you can just shift your blocks out of the way now. Take a halfway lift as you breathe in, and then step yourself back towards a plank, 1 foot at a time. Try and be nice and long in your plank from crown of head to the heels, so heels press back, crown of the head moves forward, and a little wrap of those biceps towards the front of the room. We'll take a breath in here. As we exhale, we're going to see if we can bend the elbows to let the chest find the floor. And just as it touches, we'll press straight back up, using the strength of the chest and arms. And then lowering down onto the belly. We'll pull through cobra pose, so tops of the feet will ground down. As you roll the shoulder blades back, you lift the chest up and off the mat. So elbows are squeezing in towards each other, knees are lifting off the mat as those feet press down. Take a breath. Exhale, let your forehead drop. Then press your way up onto hands and knees. Just send the hips back towards the heels. And the arms reach out in front of you. Let your forehead ground down onto the mat for just a moment. But feel the heel of the hand pressing your hips back in space, like your hips were trying to get a little closer towards the heels there. And then we'll rise up through hands and knees, tucking under the toes to come back to downward facing dog. And again, just moving through the back of the legs, doing whatever you need to do to feel acclimated, to feel comfortable in your grounding, your stability, your feet, your ankles, your legs. When you do feel stable, I'm going to encourage you to find a little bit of stillness there. Press into the palms and the hips up and back. Find that steadiness and ease in the posture. Keep the breath flowing calmly. One last inhale. Let it out. We'll rise up high on the toes. As you look forward, just start to walk slowly towards the top of the mat. When you get there, halfway lift as you inhale. And the exhale folds you heavy over the front of the thigh. And roll all the way up through standing. Let your arms meet above your head as you breathe in. As you exhale, pull the hands through center and let them drop down by the sides. And we'll continue to move. So arms will rise as you breathe in. Exhale, fold heavy over the front of the thigh as head drops. Halfway lift is your inhale, so let that spine lengthen. Now our right foot's going to stay where it is. I'm going to step the left leg back long to find a lunge. When we arrive, press your left palm flat into the floor, reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. As you come towards this twist, you want to feel the right shoulder blade wrap onto the body. You want to finish the twist by gazing up towards the right hand. And we're hugging the inner right thigh towards the chest a little bit as we sit deeper and try to lift that left knee away from the floor. Feel the steadiness. Feel the ease. Try to push firm through that left hand to rotate just a little bit more. We'll take a breath. Stay for the exhale. As your right hand returns down, we'll soften the left knee down. Take the blocks with you. We'll send the hips back to straighten through the right leg. So you're coming towards an Ardha Hanuman shape or halfway split. Imagine you had a $100 note underneath your right heel and you're trying to pull that back towards you, like you're trying to pick it up without anybody seeing. So as that right hip starts to pull back, the left hip can wrap forwards. We can lift our chest up as we breathe in. On the exhale, maybe you walk the blocks out a little further in front. You find a little bit of fold here. It's like the crown of the head was trying to reach down and meet the big toe. At the same time, the big toe was flexing back towards the crown of the head. If there's an opportunity for you to flex into your right thigh muscles here, give that a go. Just give a little more life to that right leg. Take an in-breath. And gently start to lift the chest. Shuffle the blocks a little closer back towards you and see how gently you can pick up your right leg and take it back to meet the left. In a moment, we're going to come back to downward facing dog, but we're going to keep the blocks underneath the hands. This is just going to give us a little more space to step the foot forwards. So you can press the heel of the hand off the back edge of the block as you come up towards downward facing dog. You're going to shuffle your left foot a little closer to your right foot and let your right leg rise up and back. Keep the foot flexing, hips nice and square. When it's as high as it will go, take another in-breath, lift high on the left toes. As you exhale, you're trying to draw that right leg through, keeping it as straight as it will go. Really press through the hands and see if you can deliver that right foot between the blocks. We'll step the left foot up enough so we can ground the foot flat. Lift the blocks on the highest height. Lift the chest up halfway. And again, that imaginary $100 note underneath the right heel. Right hip's drawing backwards, left hip is pulling forwards, so our spine is straight from front to back of mat. Breathe in. Exhale, bend the elbows. Allow yourself to fold. Feel the grounding. Feel the stability in the feet and the legs. So all four corners of each foot grounding into the earth. That little sense of calibration as you allow your torso to get heavier the longer you're here. And challenge the balance a little more. You can let the hands float off the mat. They don't necessarily have to rise very high. It's just so the legs can do a little more of the work here. Take one last breath. Then hands will find our blocks. We'll lift our chest up halfway, and then super easy to step your left foot up to meet your right. Halfway lift as you breathe in. Exhale will fold you forwards over the front of the thigh. And we'll roll up through standing. Let the arms climb over the head. Take a breath in. Exhale, you pull through center. And to prepare for balance, gaze forwards in front of you. The weight will move into the left foot. Keep your drishti, your gaze, steady as you bring your right knee towards your chest. Flex the toes up towards the ceiling. Catch hold of the right knee with the left hand. Rest your right hand across your chest as you start to rotate your torso to the right hand side of the room. Now, if you know you feel comfortable in this position, you could reach down the left hand could catch the outside of the right foot. If you feel the chest turning to the right-hand side of the room, maybe you reach the right arm back. But you want to feel that rotation coming from across the shoulder blades. You want to feel the chest turning to the right-hand side of the room. The exhale is going to give you more rotation. Take another breath. A little more rotation on the exhale. And you come back through center and see how gently you can soften the right foot down. Nice one. Give the legs a little bit of a shake out just to readjust and to center yourself. Come back towards your Tadasana with the steadiness and ease below you. The calibration of the feet, the visualization of the boat gently moving with the swell. Take a breath. Little sigh out. And inhale. Arms are rising, maybe you gaze up. Exhale, fold over the thigh. Again, you could just shift your blocks slightly forwards of the mat, halfway lift as you breathe in. Left foot stays this time, we pick up the right leg, we step it back long to find the lunge. And then right palm grounds flat as we reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. Again, that rotation happening across the shoulder blades. Sitting deep into that left leg, drawing the inner left thigh towards you, trying to allow that right knee to lift as you press through that bottom hand to shoot that left arm up towards the ceiling. Take a breath in. Rotate as you breathe out. And returning, left hand down, softening the back knee. As you send the hips back to straighten the left leg, take your blocks along for the ride. Square the hips as best you can by energetically pulling that $100 note towards you underneath the left heel, allowing the right hip to wrap towards the front of the room. Flex into the left thigh, if you can. Breathe in. Exhale, we see if the arms and the blocks can walk out a little further in front of us. Head drops. Foot is flexed. Crown of head moving to toes, toes moving to crown of head. Last breath. As your chest begins to rise, slide the blocks a little closer back towards you. See how gently you can pick up that left leg. Take it back to meet the right. And then prepare your blocks for that downward facing dog, but with blocks underneath the hands. So the lowest height is going to give you some space. It's still going to be quite challenging. The second height on the blocks is going to give you just a little bit more. I would not suggest the third height, the highest height, because it's a little bit too wobbly. Come to your downward facing, breathe in. Little sigh out. And left leg rises, up and back behind us. Keep the foot flexing, hips nice and square. And then rise up high on your right toes, take another breath. Exhale, we work to swing that left leg through, trying to hike the left hip up, keeping the leg as straight as it will go, delivering that left foot between the blocks. And stepping that right foot up to prepare your legs, your feet, for Parsvatanasana, pyramid pose. So right toes turning off to the right just a little. You lift the chest up halfway, energetically, $100 note pulls towards you under the left heel as the right hip wraps forward, spine parallel to left and right edge of the mat. Breathe in. Exhale is where we find our fold. So the tighter you are through the back of the legs, the more you want to step that right foot up. You can keep that subtle bend in the left knee, but if that's the case, try not to just sink into the foot. Keep imagining you're pulling that left heel towards you to get a little more activity through the left leg. All four corners of the feet grounding down, thigh muscles active if you can. Maybe you float the hands just a little. You keep your torso nice and heavy. Take one last breath. Hands find the blocks. Chest will rise halfway. Nice and easy. Right foot will step up to meet the left. Halfway lift as you breathe in. Exhale, let's fold heavy. And roll your way up through standing. Let the arms climb above you. Continue the breath. Take another if you need to. Exhale, drawing through center. Finding stability in both feet first before we prepare for our standing balance. This time we will be grounding on the right foot. It'll be the left knee that draws to chest. As it rises, flex the toes up towards the ceiling. Take your right hand to catch the left knee. Rest your left hand across the chest. Start to rotate your torso to the left-hand side of the room. Again, if there's space, right hand can reach down, catch the opposite side of the foot. It's a little bit wobbly. Keep the gaze steady if you are working on that transition. So feel the rotation across the shoulder blades. Really feel the chest turn to the left-hand side of the room. Stand as tall as you can in that right leg. Take another breath in. A little more rotation as you breathe out. And then come back through center. Nice and easy. You release the left leg and take it down. Unreal. Give those legs a chance to shake out. Done super well. We're just going to bend the knees and very easily fold over the thighs here. Use the blocks for support, just a little pedal out through the back of the legs. So a lot of grounding, a lot of steadiness in those postures. It might not have felt like there was too much ease. I promise you, if you keep that breath steady, you focus on moving nice and slow, nice and controlled, you will find that balance. Last breath. Maybe sigh it out. Inhale, chest will rise halfway. We're going to keep the blocks, come back to downward facing dog. So have them however you had them before, whether it was lower side or second side. We'll take a breath in, downward facing, inhale together. Be there for the breath out. Then right leg rises up and back as you breathe in. Exhale, you're going to step that right foot forward, maybe with a bent knee, maybe with a straight leg, whatever works best for you. This time back heel's going to drop down. We're going to bend deeply into the right knee and pop the block that's under the right hand on the second height and align the top edge with the heel on the right foot. Come on up. We'll find warrior two, taking up lots of space, spreading the arms wide. Breathe in here. Let it out. Then press to straighten through the front leg. Left hand finds the left hip, reach the right arm up and back. Right quadriceps flexing. Inhale. Exhale, we go forwards with the right arm. As you go forwards, let your left hip wrap into the front of the room. And when you can go forwards no more, find your block. Press your hand into it. Reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. One straight line from bottom hand to top. Notice the weight might try to fall to the outside edge of the right foot. Press down firm through the ball joint of the big toe on the front right foot, ball joint of the pinky toe on the back left foot. Both thighs are flexing, both kneecaps lifting. Press firm through that bottom hand to reach the top arm up. If you feel the ribs flaring out, use an exhale to try and draw the ribs in. Think of this more like an abdominal exercise as well. Take an inhale. Left hand's going to come down. You're going to come to a lazy lunge here, so lift the back heel, bend both knees, just drop the back knee down onto the mat for a moment, and really let your weight just start to fall onto the front of that right thigh. So this is just to take us out of that straight leg experience for just a moment. And then we'll lift the back knee. We're going to set up the feet and the legs for Parsvatsana, pyramid pose like we did before. Might I suggest taking the right foot a little wider to the right-hand side of the room, because we are going to work a Parivrita Parsvatsana or a Parivrita Trikonasana, depending on your school. Now the intention here is to find a twist. What I find is often when we twist, the hips will go in one direction, in this instance to the left, and then the whole spine will move to the right-hand side. You want your hips to remain square, you want your spine to remain square, you want the twist to happen from across the shoulder blades. So for more assistance, block is inside the right foot, maybe on the second height. For a deeper twist, block is on the outside of the right foot, palm presses into it. If you want to go for the full shebang, the deepest variation of the posture, lift yourself up halfway first, energetically pulling that $100 note towards you, wrapping the left hip forwards. Set your left hand onto something. If you're going all the way, the left hand is flat on the outside of the right foot. Spine is traveling forwards and back. Right arm reaches to the right-hand side of the room. Take an inhale. On the exhale, push in to the left hand to rotate the torso to the right-hand side of the room. Feel the calibration in the feet. Like the boat and the ocean going with the flow. Just allow yourself to make those little micro adjustments. Rotating across the shoulder blades. If you're finishing the pose, you gaze up towards the right thumb. Feet are firm, quads are flexed. Take one last breath in. A little more rotation as you breathe out. And then return the right hand down towards the mat. Oh, goodness. Take your right leg back to meet your left. Just drop your knees and sit your hips back atop your heels. And your breath starts to slow down. That is such a strong twist. So thank you for taking the challenge and giving yourself the opportunity to play with that twist. Notice we've been spending the entire practice moving carefully, moving slowly, moving with our breath, so that we can find that steadiness and we can work to find the ease in all of our postures. That's not to say it happens. Sometimes we get a little bit wobbly, but we try. We try. I'm going to come back towards downward facing dog. Prepare your blocks. This will be our last downward facing dog here. So if you need to pedal out the feet when you get there, just let that happen. Take a breath. Let it out. The left leg rises high as we breathe in. Exhale is going to step the left foot through between the blocks. Set the back heel down, bend the front knee, block that's under the left hand, put it on the second height, align it with the heel. We'll come up towards Warrior Two. Spread the arms wide, sit deep into that left thigh. Take an inhale. Hold for the breath out. And we'll straighten through the front leg. Right hand finds the right hip, reach the left arm up and back behind you, flex into that left thigh. Inhale. Exhale, go forwards to the front wall of the room. Feel that right hip wrap in. When you can go forwards, no more. Left hand comes down and finds the block. You press the palm into it, allow the right arm to reach straight up towards the ceiling. Flex into the thighs, gaze up to that right thumb. Again, it's ball joint of the left big toe grounding into the mat. Just a little more emphasis on the inner part of the foot grounding of the front leg, or the front foot, And a little more emphasis on the pinky side of that back foot. Hit the ribs drawing in. Core muscles engaged. Take an in-breath. Hold for the breath out. And gently, taking the right arm down, lifting the back heel, allowing the back knee to drop down onto the mat. Again, it's that opportunity for the lazy lunge, just letting your weight fall onto the left thigh, taking you out of the straight leg experience for just a moment. Preparing in a moment for our final peak shape, that Parivrita Parsvottanasana, again, or Parivrita Trikonasana, whatever you like, whatever you want to call it. So back knee will rise. We'll set up the feet, again, a little more width, shuffle the left foot out a little bit wider. If you want more support, block is on the inside of the left foot. If you want less support, block is on the outside of the left foot. I shouldn't say less support, what I should say, if you want a stronger twist, block is on the outside of the left foot. If you want the strongest twist, right palm is flat, outside the left foot. We still want to lift the chest and move the spine, especially the crown of the head towards the front of the room. Hips are squaring, left arm reaches the left-hand side of the room. Take an inhale. And then exhale, push through the right hand to rotate the torso to the left-hand side of the room. Just take a moment to get acclimated, to feel the wobbles in the feet, to feel the toes bite into the mat, to feel your thigh muscles engage. If you're finishing the shape, gazing up towards the left thumb. Going with the flow. Feeling the steadiness. Feeling the ease. Take an inhale. Rotate. One more, breathe in. Let it out. And gently, left hand comes down towards the mat. You take the left leg back to meet the right once again. Sit the hips back on top of the heels, untuck the toes, find an upright seat. Might be feeling new space in the body. Breath may be traveling a little deeper. A lot of time in deep twists can open up new cavities, new pathways, new space in the body. Sometimes I like to imagine that the body itself is a mansion. And if you had a mansion with 100 rooms, it would take a long time to explore all of those rooms. But I like to think of the physical yoga practice as a chance to walk around that mansion with 100 keys and try to unlock as many doors as you can. This is what we do when we move through the body. We explore our mansion as we hope to unlock as many doors as we can to see what's behind the door. We'll let the hips rise. Tuck under the toes. Keep the glutes super firm here. Press the hips forward. I'm just going to work to activate the legs before we come down towards rest. Arms reach out in front of us. Breathe in. Exhale, we just start to lean back. So it's an active stretch through the front of the hips. Feel the glutes firm and the hips pressing forward as you rise. Breathe in. Exhale, we lean back. Just a little bit of movement after all the static postures. Rise back up, breathe in. Exhale, you lean it back. Then as you rise back up, pull the shoulder blades back, reach back with the hands, see if both ankles can be caught at the same time. Roll the shoulder blades back, but keep pressing the hips forward. Maybe look up to the ceiling, or if the neck feels okay, drop the head. Take one last breath. Head rises, release both ankles, same time. Lift the knees off the mat. Allow yourself to get nice and small. Interlace the fingers, drop the head down, move the neck from side to side. And gently lower your hips down towards the floor. Extend the legs out nice and long in front of you. Give them a little chance to shake out there. Adjust your sitting bones. And flex the muscles of the thighs. Flex the feet back towards you. Reach the arms up, breathe in. Exhale, move forwards from the pelvis. Feel the rib cage meet the thighs as you reach the arms out to fold. If you can find the feet, let the thumb rest at the base of the big toe. 4 fingers around the outside edge of the foot. You're trying to push the big toe away from you. Peel the pinky toe towards you so the feet remain flat. Shoulder blades roll down the back. Crown of the head moves towards the toes. Toes towards the crown of the head. Feel the steadiness. Feel the ease. Sthira Sukham Asanam. Take one last breath. Gently rise up towards the seat. If you're running out of mat behind you, gently shuffle your hips forward. Give yourself a little more space. I'm going to start to lower ourselves down on to the back. When you arrive, feel the shoulder blades draw back towards each other a little more. Press into the heels to lift the hips, tucking the tailbone under. As you start to come down towards stillness, again take your mind to the image of that boat. By now the swell has started to settle. And the waters have begun to turn glassy and still. So in your mind, the boat, steady, stable and grounded, the still ocean below it. With the lightness and expanse, the space and air above it. Try to feel this here in your Shavasana. Steadiness and support of the glassy ocean. The expanse and the ease of the sky above. As you look to be still in your posture. Thank yourself for going with the flow. Allowing yourself to calibrate, to adjust, and to move with the swell. Sthira Sukham Asanam.